Hello, Darren.
Hi, Darren. Oh, you all right?
I'm on holiday.
Yes. Tell us where you are, Darren.
I'm in Folkestone, and I am staying with my friend Ian, which makes me think. Which makes me think it's not a proper holiday, maybe?
Does Ian live in Foxton then?
Ian lives in Folkestone, yeah.
Right.
And
I didn't know.
it's sort of, yeah, like I say, it makes me think it isn't quite a proper holiday because you're staying with a friend. Because like a holiday should be a hotel or a chalet.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, it's certainly a break, though, isn't it? It's a change.
Yeah. Well, it's also, dare I say it, a little bit of a holiday from Minnie the dog.
Oh. I hope she's not listening.
She is undoubtedly having a better time than she has with me. She is with my friends Dan and Suze, who were my support bubble during lockdown.
Right.
And have sort of consequently they're sort of on their way to becoming Minnie's co-owners, to be honest. And so they take care of Minnie sometimes. And normally Minnie comes back from staying with Dan and Suze with a trick. Dan is much more into training Minnie than I am. So last time she could do lie down on command.
Yeah. She one day she's gonna come back and be able to say your name.
Say my name.
Yeah. She'll walk in and she'll go, Darren.
Okay, right.
Now I know you told me before that's not how Minnie speaks anyway.
No, but I mean, would you like to be reminded of how she speaks?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, this is Minnie the dog's voice. Hello, Mr. Darren, kind sir. You is awful nice with your drawing club, kind sir.
Yeah. You got one weird dog.
Yeah. I could also give you the voice of Beulah, my last dog.
Right, okay, different voice then.
Well, she was quite sweary. I'll try and do it without swearing. I'll try and you
can swear.
All right, Darren. War and terror, innit? War and terror. We have to free the world of terrorists, don't we? War and terror. all you liberals. She was quite right wing, my last dog.
Wow, that's quite unexpected.
Yeah, really unexpected. Really cute dog. Loved to play, really kind with people, but when she was alone with me, really, really right wing.
Right, so see, this is the thing with like very racist people and that. Obviously, like your dog Beulah, she just assumed that you were racist too.
No, she hated my politics. She
all right.
She thought I was I epitomized woke gone mad. She
What brand dog was she?
Well, she looked very much like a small border collie, and posh people would get quite excited, and they go, "Oh, border collie puppy!" But actually, you can get your dog's DNA. Did you know this?
Right.
You can take a swab in their mouth and you can send it off to Doggy DNA or something. You pay about 80 quid.
Right.
And then they'll tell you what your dog is. And it was about half of her was American Rat Terrier. And
Rat Terrier?
Rat Terrier, which is odd because, as you know, my current dog, Minnie, has also caught and killed a rat.
Yeah, loves the rat.
Yeah.
Well.
This is, she was outside and she was sniffing around a drain pipe, and then I went out and she looked as shocked as me to find a dead rat in front of her, and there was no getting away with who done it. There was blood all over her chops. I'm toying with the idea of doing 2 paintings simultaneously.
Right. You're gonna need a big camera.
Well, I think I could just switch it over.
Right.
Yeah, I could. Yeah. Well, I'll just take one bit of paper away. Also, it might be something to talk about. Do you ever do more than one picture at once?
Yes, I have done. Once I did 3 versions of Paul Young's No Parley album cover all at the same time. So I put like the flesh toned dye on each one, then the reds, and then the blacks and that. And the reason I did that, because if you go into a charity shop, you will never find a single copy of No Parley. There's always at least one companion copy. So,
I think the same is true now for Permission to Land by the Darkness.
Is that right?
I think everyone has their own charity shop record bingo, and right. I got sort of slightly fascinated by the Darkness in that it's hard to think of a band that went so huge and so small, like so quickly. I mean, I say they're small. They're bigger than me or you. You know, they still do fine.
Yeah.
Probably a bit unfair to say that. But yet they were so massive for a very short time. They're like Wembley Stadium, Christmas #1, big. Yeah, I don't know if they were Christmas #1, but they were contenders.
They was robbed. They was robbed.
Right.
That was the year that Mad World was #1.
See, that seems like a different era, but that's the thing, isn't it? Time plays tricks on you.
Well, but I think it was a different era. That musically, that period, which was like turn of the century, 2000s, that, which obviously
you mean that version from Donnie Darko?
Yeah, that was around 2001, 2002.
Right.
And I think the music scene then was quite unusual, and also, I mean, you were kind of part of it then as well.
I think I had one song that got to number 47 around that time.
There you go.
I mean, I wasn't worrying.
Which is many places.
I wasn't worrying Mr. Darko or Mr. Darkness.
No.
They weren't looking over their shoulders, thinking there's Hayman's coming on the inside lane or anything like that. I'm down in Folkestone, so I visited these that are sound mirrors in Dungeness. I painted these the other day, and that's a different one actually. But these are paintings of the sound mirrors, and I did these all together. Like I drew them in situ, but I added the colour when I got back. Right. And the sky was the same, so I mixed up all the blue. But to be honest,
it makes them very uniform. They look like they belong together.
Yeah, well, you couldn't actually walk around them because it's a sanctuary. So this is as close as I could get. You cannot open them. So if you look, actually, they're kind of all from the same direction, just me focusing in on different ones.
Right, yeah.
So I sort of disagree, actually. I don't think they actually do successfully make a set. I think it's more like 4 versions of the same painting a little bit, like just framing them slightly differently. I don't know if they would work on a wall together. And also, I mean, the people have decided anyway, because no one's like, a couple of them are sold, but no one's brought more than one. So,
right. You can tell from the colours though that you painted them at the same time. So you added like the greens and then the different shades. They all make sense together.
But I suppose the point I'm getting to, but I kind of thought you'd done it more than just once on the No Parley. So you might not have a perspective on this, but I suppose what I was getting to is that if truth be told, it makes me feel a tiny bit dirty.
Does it?
Yeah.
Like a production line.
Yeah. And sort of.
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned that. Have you heard of, you'll know his work, an artist called Steve Keane?
Maybe. If you go on, maybe I'll even
Steve Keane did the artwork for, is it Wowie Zowie Pavements?
Oh, yeah.
And that's exactly what he does. He paints album covers like I sometimes do, but he's got a big garage. He lines up his canvases. I think they're wood, like I paint them as well, actually. And I found this out after I started doing mine. But he'll line like 6 or 7 up, and he'll do all the blues, all the pinks, all the same album cover, and he does them really, really quickly, and then sells them really cheaply. So yeah, Steve Keane is an artist he's made that his kind of his thing, painting multiple versions of the same painting. And this is it. Whereas you were painting slightly different versions of those sound mirrors, he basically does the same painting like several times, but of course each time it's different. So it becomes
I think it's always different though when you're sort of elevating it to be in the conceptual point.
Yeah,
I suppose. But yeah, point taken. I'll tell you what I do think. I think there's a limit. And I think yesterday or the day before yesterday doing the sound mirror paintings, I was sort of close to the limit.
You were done.
Yeah, I think if you sort of got 2 or 3 paintings and you're switching between them, it's like doing 4 paintings in a row would be hard for me. I'd kind of tire and slightly lose my concentration. Yeah. And so I'm doing pretty much a close equivalent of that when I'm doing 4 in a row. Perhaps a little less because of some colours. But I find one thing that happens when you're doing it is you tend to get sucked into one painting and you look up and think, oh, hold on, I'm supposed to be doing those other ones as well. But these paintings, these paintings here have a really similar palette. And also, to be honest, I sort of wanted to do it today because I wanted to talk to you about it because I thought you'd done it more often.
Right. Yeah.
I'm the cheater on this one. No such thing as cheating, is there?
I don't necessarily do that very often, but I have done like you. I've done days where I've spent all day painting.
Well, the thing with the Paul Young thing is it's kind of conceptual, based on the in itself, it's a joke on how many Paul Young records are out there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a joke. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and no one bought one. Maybe they decided they'd need all 3 and they couldn't afford all 3.
Well, which is perfect, right? I mean, it would have spoiled the concept if someone had brought one almost.
Yeah. So I'm speaking of holidays then, and you've been in Folkestone. Actually, I want to know first. Tell me about Folkestone, because I know where it is now. I looked it up, but I always used to think Folkestone was Lowestoft. But funnily enough, which is where Darkness are from, I think. And Lowestoft is Suffolk, isn't it?
Were you actually confusing? Were you in fact confusing Folkestone with Felixstowe?
Is that Suffolk?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'm getting them all mixed up then. I know where Folkestone is.
It's on the Kent coast, and it took me quite a while to get here. Actually, in fact, I've put in a claim for a refund on the old Southeastern Rail. But it was supposed to have taken me about 2 hours on slow trains. I think I could have done it on that high speed Hoogerma-flip train.
You got a fancy fast train?
There's a fancy fast Kent train, isn't it, that I think uses the rails from the Eurostar.
Right, I see. Oh, you get everything down there, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, that would be, I suppose really it's ideal that you don't know about the north-south divide if you live north. I mean, it would be ideal that you didn't know about it, that we got all the good stuff, right? That would be perfect.
It would be bad. It would be better if no one told us.
Yeah, because if you don't know, then you're not going to get upset about it. Yeah, someone offered me the other day. Someone offered me all of your village in exchange for a packet of tree ball mints, but I decided not to do it. Yeah, it's down on the Kent coast, and it is part of a whole load of towns. Really, the whole string of towns across the coast, along that coast, that are all of them being changed quite quickly. Gentrification, and I think what they call them here is the DFLs, down from London's.
Right.
People from London are buying the property up here, and it's becoming. I always think judge gentrification by how much you're paying for a coffee.
Yeah.
And you can buy all the expensive coffee here for sure. But it also sort of has that kind of. It's hard to know when this starts and stops and how you judge it. But when I was living in Walthamstow in East London, which also went through all this. Over the last 15 years, there's often a sweet spot.
Yes,
there's a sweet spot where you can still get a bacon sandwich for a couple of quid, and you can still buy frothy workers' coffee, and you can still do all those things. And yet, if you want to, you can go to a gin bar. There's like a point where both worlds exist, and they kind of sort of sit slightly uneasily sometimes next to each other. And I quite like places like that. And I would say that that's the case here. It's neither super hipster, nor is it sort of tired seaside town, but it's kind of both those things.
Yeah, that sounds good. I agree. I like that kind of mix.
I think you would like it here. Yeah.
Bit of genteelness, but you want a bit of liveliness. Well,
no, I've had old school fish and chips and a smoky porter in a craft beer place whilst I've been here. I've done all the things.
So I'm painting. I've managed to shoehorn some figurative arts into this holidays theme. And I'm painting a photo I took in Fremantle, near Perth in Australia. And it's a photo of a lot of cyclists who'd stopped for a break right next to the Bon Scott statue.
There's a statue of Bon Scott in Fremantle.
Statue of Bon Scott in Fremantle, yeah. Yeah.
The guy that went to the South Pole.
Ah, that's the fella. Yeah.
About time. When are we going to recognise our true heroes?
Trying to come up with a suitable North Pole, South Pole, whatever song, but I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
See what it's like Twitter. No, but yeah, so I'm painting this statue of him. There's in fact, funnily enough, when I went from that holiday, I went on to Melbourne, and there's a big, really good AC/DC bit of graffiti in Melbourne as well. So still the biggest band in Australia, I think.
Really?
It's kind of like going to Liverpool and seeing the Beatles mentioned. Which is
the thing is that with the Beatles and Liverpool is that, I mean, Liverpool doesn't really like to go on about it, does it?
No. No, there's just the 20 statues. Very, very, like to keep it low key.
Are you when it comes to AC/DC, are you a Bon Scott man or are you a Brian Johnston man?
Well, I think it's easy to say that the quality of the records was maybe more consistent with Bon Scott. But having said that, I mean, Back in Black, I think, is brilliant.
Well, yes, I agree, because I think my favourite two records are actually the records that straddle the change.
Yeah.
I think, that what actually is the best AC/DC is just before Bon Scott's death and just after. Like them.
Yeah.
He peaked before he died, and then they had everything to prove. And so came out the traps, guns blazing.
But I do remember flying from Perth to Melbourne, and the plane had like a music system. You could plug your headphones in and pick an album to listen to. So I was listening to AC/DC on the way to Melbourne. Can't remember which album it is, but it's the one with For Those About to Rock on it.
Isn't it? Isn't there an album called For Those About to Rock?
Yes, maybe that's it. And I loved it because it always reminds me of the Saturday Rock Show with Alan Freeman, who would always, he'd start the show with Bon Scott shouting, and I loved the all that "We Salute You" and stuff. I think it's great.
I love them. I've seen them. I've been to see them.
Have you?
Yeah.
I bet they were great.
Yeah, they were great. One of the few bands, or there's only a few bands which think you can say this, where truth be told, the front man isn't the singer.
Right, so you mean the front man is Angus?
Yeah. Like if you think of AC/DC, who do you think of before you think of it either singer?
Yes, a good point. Think of Angus. I've never painted Angus. Maybe I should do.
Oh yeah, that seems doable.
Yeah. I've painted Brian before. I like his pose where he's always kind of hunched over with his with his flat cap on.
Yeah, in answer to my own question, I think I am a little bit more of a Brian Johnston man. There's something sort of quite unlikely about him as a rock star.
There is, isn't there?
There was something a bit
Have
unlikely.
You seen his TV program?
No. Is it about cars? He likes cars, doesn't he?
No, this program is where he just goes like visiting his rock star friends and hangs out and hang out with them. But what's really odd is the friends that he's got. It's kind of not what I would have expected. And not necessarily a surprise when you think about it, but he goes to visit Mike Knoffler. So, obviously you've got the Geordie connection, and likewise with Sting. Visit Sting.
Of course, yeah.
He spends a bit of time with Robert Plant. And again, I suppose, they would have crossed each other's paths, but never put AC/DC and Zeppelin as kind of really, they're not very similar. But there's one, he goes visits Dolly Parton, and it seems she knows him well. It's kind of a surprise. But then it's easy to forget with Brian Johnston. People just think, oh yeah, AC/DC. But he was in Budgie in the 70s, wasn't he? And they were well respected.
No, wasn't he in a band? Right. Wasn't he in a band called Geordie?
Yeah, not Budgie, Geordie. That's the one. Yeah.
Me and you, however,
good.
are now going to form a band called Budgie.
There already was one.
That's
why I'm getting it mixed up. They were a Welsh rock band. It is a song called Bread Fan.
Bit of a
when you were down you're still in Foxton now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm at Ian's, and we might. It's not impossible. We might have a guest appearance from Ian.
Oh, so I was looking at the map of Folkestone, and these things kept popping up called is it Martello Towers?
Yeah.
I saw you painted one.
There you go.
There it is. So are they a wartime thing?
I think they're Napoleonic. I think they are a wartime thing, but not everyone's favourite war.
Not the classic.
Have you got a favourite war?
I've got a favourite war.
Yeah, I have. I've definitely got a favourite war.
I prefer to go with Boy George's thoughts of war, and that war is stupid.
I think my favourite war is the English Civil.
The English Civil.
Mm.
Actually, maybe I might go.
Here you go. Here's my top three wars. English Civil, First World War, or the Great War, and then Spanish Civil.
Spanish Civil is pretty good.
Yeah,
some good books about it. Best war for films. That's going to be second one or Nam, surely.
Oh, Nam. Yeah. Who could forget?
I mean, we've talked about television before. Nam inspired Magnum, didn't it? So,
is that what it is? Does Magnum have Nonflashbacks in Magnum? I forgot that.
He does. Yeah, he genuinely does more than in one episode as well. Yeah. He's a vet from Nam.
Perhaps it is time for me to state clearly and fully for the record that I do think war is stupid, and there is nothing funny. There is nothing funny about a non-flashback. There is something funny about non-flashbacks in movies, though.
Yeah. best non-flashback. Got to be Airplane.
Is that where is that the one that sort of alerted us to the cliche? Do you think is that the first time?
I think it did. Yeah. This is I picked quite a difficult subject here.
Well, I'm glad because I'm trying to do 2 in the time it takes you to do 1, and usually I can't do 1 in the time it takes you to do 1.
This is one where you can buy books on putting something like this together because there's so much going on in it. I'm just making it up as I go along. It's the best holiday you've had. You got one?
Ooh.
You're not sure?
You sort of think of holidays as, I don't know. And my memories of holidays are really good. Like, I think like a lot of my memories of past relationships and people I was very happy with and adventures stem from holidays. I think, as I get older, I'm trying to be a bit better at, how can I word this? What's the word for it? Mindfulness, right?
Yep.
The idea that you're getting better at recognizing a good time when it's happening, not when it's gone.
Yeah.
I was trying to do that yesterday. I was sitting on the edge of the harbour arm and I was just drinking some champagne and there was a breeze and I was trying to think, this is pretty good now. This is good now, Darren. Register that something good is happening. Don't sit here and fret about anything. This is really nice. You're just having a glass of champagne. The sun's out. You can hear the seagulls. None of which answers your question.
No. But you make a good point because this holiday that I'm painting here, the Australian one, this was 4 years ago. And the further away it goes in time, the more fondly I look back on it. But at the time, there were moments where it's a little bit fractious. We were staying with my wife's sister and her husband. We were both lovely people, but being kind of like thrown into their lives for a few weeks and living in their house was quite a big change for all of us. And there were times when just wanted to get away, just be on my own and that, which wasn't very, it wasn't really as easy to do as you might think, because Australia's Perth is really a massive place and you need a car to get around, and obviously we didn't have one, so it's quite difficult. But the more I think about the holiday now, the more fondly I remember it and would like to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
It's a strange country, Australia.
Something I was thinking about was... Sorry.
No, I carry on.
I was just thinking about before I knew you, or as I was getting to know you.
Yeah.
And I remember that I remember something that sort of on Twitter sort of made me sort of notice you a little bit more, was that we both went on a holiday to Florence, very close in time to each other. I remember that.
Yes. Yeah, that is... I remember because you did an album called Florence, didn't you?
Did an album called Florence. And truth be told, probably shouldn't tell you this now. I'm going to tell you. I sort of briefly thought about getting you to do the cover, but I didn't.
No, the thing is, I know this already because you asked me if you wanted to see my drawings that I'd done over there in case I had anything interesting.
And it wasn't that I didn't. It was, you know what, as well, I think at the time, I think the difference between our drawing styles is quite pronounced, as anyone looking at the screen now would hopefully see.
Yeah.
But I think they weren't so much then. I think we were drawing a lot of buildings, and I think there was we both had a slightly spidery line.
That's right.
And I think that's something I thought of. I just sort of thought, in a way, these look a bit like mine, and perhaps that's why. Perhaps that might have been why.
I mean, having seen the one that one of yours you used, I think you made the right choice. I don't think mine was as good as yours.
There's a drawing on the back. The actual cover is literally just the word Florence.
Right.
It's just typography in the end. So perhaps that's what I decided to do. Rather than offend Darren, I won't use any pictures of Florence on it. But that album, sort of highlights something else that's sort of perhaps worth bringing up when talking to me about holidays is perhaps some people who've been on holiday with me might say I'm not very good at it.
Right, okay. Why do you think that is?
I find that holidays do something to my brain, which is really good. I'm outside my routine, and I find them really good for songs and drawing. And here I am drawing on my holiday here, and I find that starts quite quickly. I'm like, oh, I'm away. I've got ideas, and so quite often on holiday, I'll pack a little guitar or certainly a notebook. And in a way, it happens so often that I'm sort of ready, almost preparing myself to catch the ideas that I'll have whilst I'm on holiday.
Yeah.
And even to the extent that some of my projects, literally one about Lido is a project I've done recently about peers, also my Thankful Villagers thing. You could say that they are ways of prolonging a holiday or making work and a holiday blend into each other.
Right.
So I do projects which, allow me to go and rent holiday cottages. And I mean, I loved all that, especially when I got that Arts Council funding for the Thankful Villagers thing. I loved using the people's lottery money, to fund staying in a holiday cottage. I worked very hard and didn't waste any of the taxpayers' money, I promise you.
You did work very hard. That is, I
think you'll find I was literally the hardest working man. Well, hardest working indie artist in 2016, as voted for by the what is it called?
Yeah.
The Independent Association of Music, I think it's called, or something. I got an award.
Well, you know what's funny? I was talking about you to a friend of mine via like Facebook Messenger, and nothing but praise, Darren, nothing but praise. But he was joking and said, looks like a lazy bastard to me. So I was able to come back with that little fact about your award.
Well, I am bragging a bit and joking about bragging as if to show that I'm not bragging, but I am bragging. But the truth be told, it is a little bit of a problem, actually. I think I do find it a little hard to
switch off.
Understand the value of nothing, let's say.
Right. Yeah.
I think I could be better at not always looking for the secondary value in experience. I think a problem I have is that I'm always is there something in this situation I can use? Is there a song? Is there a picture? It's like my brain's way of it sounds like I'm trying to make it sound romantic, but I'm not actually. I'm actually saying it's a bit tragic to sort of look at experience in that, to often think of experience in that way. I think it's tiring. It's tiring for me, but I think it can be tiring for people that are on holiday with me.
Right.
Do you want to go out there and sit on the? Should we go out there and sit about and just look at? Yeah. In a minute, I just got to do this. I can see how that gets on people's nerves.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm kind of the same. Basically, when I'm working on songs, I can go out for a walk with my wife, and I have to apologise for being so quiet. It's often like, sorry, I'm quiet. I'm just wondering whether I should increase the 2K on that drum sound. Maybe that snare needs a bit more top end. And I can literally be like thinking about that for an hour and a half walk. Or the other one would be, sorry, I'm quiet. I'm just writing a song. So you're walking along. Not even with pen and paper. It's just there in your head. You've got to try and remember it.
No, I understand entirely. And like I say, I'm kind of, there's a potential for this sounding like an inverted kind of boasting. I'm actually not. I'm actually thinking this is something I want to correct about myself.
Yeah. Do need to switch off from time to time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also taps into that very complicated question about whether what we're doing now, if it is work or play. And, I'm very, very aware of my enormous privilege in my life that I get to do something which is most people consider play all the time. But then it is work as well. And that kind of constantly doing a dance around those two things.
Well, I mean, I know it's work, because I do it a little bit myself. Like, I have a day job, but I sell my arts, and it is kind of fun, but it's not. Don't think it's as much fun as people think it is. Not maybe fun's the wrong word. It's not actually. Yeah, I mean, it's never not fun. When I compare it to my day job, it is never. This is always brilliant, but it is also work. And obviously, I don't have to make a living from it, and you do. Then it's definitely a job, no matter how much you like it.
Yeah, I do. I earn my living from it. I'm very, very lucky. And yet, yesterday or the day before, I was on holiday, and part of the holiday, I decided to paint 4 pictures of the sound mirrors for, it took me about 4 hours or so. But I definitely only decided to do that for fun.
Yeah.
So it's both things all the time, which is great and also a ball ache. Still haven't got an answer for you on the best holiday.
Yeah. Well, I've got a few fond ones that I've got really fond memories of. And they're all pretty recent.
I should add that I'm finding it hard to think of a bad one.
Yeah.
I can't really think of many disasters. I'm trying to think of some which were sort of, oh God, that was Oh, I thought of one.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Well, and I suppose it sort of taps into a sort of another kind of idea I had something to talk to you about today, which is actually holidays on your own, traveling alone. But yeah, my sister got married in Ayia Napa in Cyprus.
Ayia Napa.
Do we say Ayia Napa?
I think it is Ayia Napa.
Right. Anyway, Cyprus.
Yeah.
Big party town.
Yes, it is. That's why I was slightly like, oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you must remember that me and my sister are from Essex, and
right.
without wanting to say anything bad about my beloved sister, she was definitely chose a wedding which wasn't my scene, and my then partner couldn't come, so I went on holiday to Ayia Napa on my own for my sister's wedding. And my partner had found this brochure, which was off the beaten track.
Right, yeah.
Get away from the tourists sort of brochure.
Yeah.
Which by the very nature of being a brochure that does that thing, I suppose, how could it be, but anyway.
Yeah.
So she helped me choose it and got the flight over, got on this coach, like when they arrange to pick you up. I've very rarely done this sort of business. It was very unusual to me. The coach picked you up and, right, listen for when this is called out, or they called your name out. And this coach was snaking around, stopping outside all these big holiday, big white hotel complexes, which undoubtedly had swimming pools and everything. And I was the last one, and it went out a bit out of town, and it stopped at this little place. And I went in, and there's this woman, and she was an artist. This is all completely true. And she had to walk me through her studio. And there were canvases and paints strewn over the floor, and took me up this little stairway into this room. But it was brilliant. It was a beautiful view of the sea.
Oh.
She had a little terrace, and she used to make me breakfast.
A little terrorist?
She had a little terrorist who made me breakfast on the terrace. And all the time, I mean, it still sends me there. And all the time on these little speakers on the terrace was playing Cat Stevens.
Right.
All the time, just Cat Stevens. I could have dinner in the night there, and then there were steps going down to this little bay, which was essentially mine.
Oh, nice.
And it's brilliant. But the company, the rep from the company, turned up the next day and the day after, and was absolutely convinced, like, clearly this place was not going to be on their books any longer. And she was just saying to me, "Are you happy?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's brilliant." She's like, "Because we can move you. We can move you to a really, really good place. This place here, it will cost you no extra. It's a 3-star hotel or whatever. It's got a pool." And it was just funny. I was like, "Yeah, I know what you think. I do know what you think, but honestly, this is brilliant." And sometimes when I get stressed, and one of the stress exercises I do is you try and send yourself to certain places, don't you?
Yeah.
Because also the other thing about that holiday was that my life went completely pear-shaped the minute I touched down. when I got back from, because I got back from that holiday, and then my record company, that's when they dropped me, and then I had to take this legal case against them, and it was about 2 years of pain. So I think that's another reason why that holiday is kind of magnified, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just...
but coming off holiday is sometimes bad enough. I'd had to get back into things, but when something like that happens, it must be a killer.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good holiday. Very fond, because also my parents were, just a little way along the coast, and my sister.
Yeah.
And remember me and my sister going paragliding, and I'm not always that close to my sister. We've had periods where we're closer and when we're not. Never fallen out, but just it's very different to me is all.
Yeah.
And I remember that. Going paragliding with her. And I remember my dad and mum and dad coming over to my place for dinner, and they're like, "Oh, this is weird." So, the holiday company wanted to move me, and they said, "Well, you should have done. You should have gone somewhere nice." I was like, "No, I don't understand. I like it." And I can remember my dad having a halloumi cheese for the first time. He's going, "What's halloumi cheese?" I said, "You like it, Dad?" And he had it, and he did like it. So I like it. It's really nice.
Squeaky. Why is it squeaky?
I used to know a girl who used to call halloumi cheese trouser cheese because it always looks like little trousers.
Does it?
Yeah. Next time you get halloumi, have a look. They look like big baggy Bermuda shorts. It's got like a bit in the middle for the crotch. Let's see. You're not having it?
I need to check this out. I've got 2 legs.
Yeah, halloumi's got 2 legs. Trouser cheese. Is
it hunted like on the?
Oh, you know what I've realised. I know what I've realised.
Yeah.
We're sending you something up there, and we're calling it halloumi, and it's not halloumi, isn't it? It's the North-South divide again.
Listen, you're joking, but you're the one eating trouser cheese.
We're just sending you some ropey cheddar and calling it halloumi, aren't we?
If that means you actually keep the trouser cheese, then that is fine by me.
Okay, I'll keep the trouser cheese.
I'm not eating trouser cheese.
Okay, don't worry. I'll eat all the trouser cheese. If we ever go on holiday, I'll eat your trouser cheese.
She's such a smooth talker. I think we've got a name for the show.
Oh, wow. Your painting's magnificent. I haven't looked up for a while.
Thank you.
Sometimes you get so wrapped up in your own, you don't look up.
Yeah, you're right. I've hardly seen anything that you've done. That's grey sky.
Are you nearly finished?
I'm wondering whether I've finished or not. I'm not sure.
Well, if it helps you get, I've probably still got another 5 minutes or so, but I'm not far away.
Yeah. I'm wondering whether to add a seagull or not. There is a seagull in shot, but it feels like
I sort of don't like the idea that you might constantly spoil your pictures because you do extra bits because I'm so slow.
Don't need any help at ruining my art.
I do like that. Maybe I do like that happens.
I think it's a difficult one to paint. I've left a lot of people out. It was really busy that where all the people on the bikes were. I mean,
so you working from a holiday photo?
Yeah, it's holiday photo taken on what camera did I take that on? I think that was on my Olympus trip 35, which I think it's about 40 years old. It was all film. I still only take film cameras on holiday with me.
No, you can tell it's that one because you can tell like I can see in the picture the Bolux refraction, which was often common on the.
That's right. Yeah. I was hoping you'd spot that.
And it sometimes got that irritating like flangeback thing, doesn't it? It does on the middle
the
distance.
Flangeback is terrible, big problem. Yeah. No, but I like
except on those days when you want flangeback. Can you find it anywhere?
Darren Hayman and the hunt for flange. I like taking the film camera on holiday with me because I enjoy the surprise I get when the film's developed. Usually, I mean, this is colour, but I usually take black and white film and develop it myself at home. So it's a process of a few weeks and sometimes even months before I get round to developing all of the film.
I have got in a box at home, I've got a disposable camera from about 25 years ago now.
Wow.
From a trip to Nijmegen in Holland. And I haven't
still waiting to be processed.
Yeah.
Get it done.
And I'm aware also that, you know, things will be happening to the film over this time, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm almost sort of almost superstitious.
I mean, it's still. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I might get it developed for this. Maybe I'll get it developed one, and then I'll show them, and then maybe I'll paint something from it, if indeed anything comes out. You know.
You will get something. I might give you a couple of addresses where you might want to send it to, who are used to dealing with more expired film and stuff like that. Because you take it to your local Max Spielman's or something like that, and they're likely to sort of not develop it. Maybe so. Oh, it's too old. We can't do this. Or
you helped me out brilliantly before with my dad's slides. Remember?
Did I?
Sure, it was you. Yeah, when after my dad died, I found loads of slides, and I'm pretty sure it was you that. And I think I sent it up to some. I think I might have even sent it to somewhere in Bolton or somewhere for them.
Right? Did I give you the address?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That would have been. Yeah, it's a place in South Manchester, Cheshire way. I think that would normally use. So yeah. Yeah, you need places like that who are used to the more I don't know what you call it. There's a movement of photography called Limography. It's actually a company, but they did a really brilliant marketing job and turned themselves into a whole style.
Yeah, I've got a Lomo camera.
You've got what? Sorry,
I've got a Lomo camera.
Right, have you? Which one have you got? Do you know? But they
I can't tell you. Sorry, I'll share it another day.
Yeah, well, they're into people using expired film and experimenting with film and stuff. And when that craze really took off, about 10 years ago. It's just labs were getting inundated with people giving them expired film and loads of crazy experiments, and a lot of the high street labs had no idea what was going on, and they'd give you your film back, say it was faulty. Well, it used to be good because you'd shoot on expired film, or you do some weird experiment with your film. Say you might soak it in like washing up liquid for a few weeks and then shoot on it afterwards. And it'd come, once you get it developed at one of the high street places, it'd come back come out like with all these really weird colour shifts, and they'd give you your money back because they were convinced it was something they'd done wrong.
Yeah, I remember doing something with a camera, my Loma camera, and they didn't develop all of it because they thought they're faulty. And then I looked at the neg sheets and thought, oh no, this is really good. And I had to go back and say, look, I actually want you to develop these. And so then I started going in saying, develop everything. And they sort of put an instruction on it saying, this idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I used to have to go, because a lot of my cameras shoot in weird formats, so they're not just a standard 35mm. They might shoot across 4 or 5 frames, or I sort of roll wind the film on halfway, then shoot again so everything overlaps. There's always got to give them instructions. Say, please don't cut the negatives, whatever you do. Yeah, now that's done. I'm gonna sign it.
Yeah, me too.
You'll be. I'm gonna say you'll be pleased. No, you won't. But my Belka painting was bought and arrived safely today.
Yeah. You're saying this because I have a painting missing in transit, and it was honestly, I think, one of the best paintings I've done this year.
Yeah. I saw you paint it.
Yeah, but
really
it's not necessarily gone yet. When I get home, I'll hopefully find the tracking number, and hopefully the other thing that sometimes happens is it just ends up back at you, like you think it's gone, and then it turns up on your doorstep because they say, "Oh, I'm delivered." And in case anyone's worried about buying a painting from me, I should say that I always refund or offer to paint it again. But in this particular case, it's a good one.
It is.
Do you think I'm finished? Well,
I mean, I'm not the one to say, but...
Oh, you could be. I mean, there's no one else around.
They look finished.
2 shelters. I've forgotten what it's called, the place. Littlestone, I think it's between here and Dungeness.
Right.
I just got out. Ian was driving me, and I got out of the car and just took a couple of photographs. Quite like, just little shelters. I quite like this.
Whoa!
That was an accident. I suppose it should go.
You know what's really? No.
I mean, this one's got a wall, so it doesn't quite work because this one's got a wall, and then that landscape at back, which is sort of Folkestone.
I tell you, if you put a little bit of distance a separation between the two, that wall where we can't see that wall is just maybe naturally ending in the white space.
Oh, so like that, you mean?
Yeah. And what's interesting is because that one on the left is smaller, there is some depth going on there.
Yeah.
It moved back.
Well, there you go. I did 2 paintings.
Very nice.
And the time it took you to do 1. And I'm on holiday.
Mine was quite involved. Not saying yours wasn't, but there's a lot going on.
Oh, I need to give you some news about what might be happening. I'm thinking about getting my hair cut. And Ian has told me that here in Folkestone, there is an Only Fools and Horses themed barbers.
You have to go.
Yeah, I know, but it's my head. And
Rodney.
I'm definitely, well, I think I want a granddad. I think I want an Uncle Albert. I just take all the hair off my head and stick it on my chin. I think we're done.
I want a photo of this place.
I'll take a photo. And if I take a photo, maybe it can even be inserted here or something.
Yeah, if you take a photo, I will put it on here, put it at the end.
Okay.
Never mind our paintings, this is more important.
Okay. Bye-bye, Darren.
Bye, Darren.